Welcome to the Devil's Lair with Randy Meadows and Todd Gann. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/Devil's Lair. Over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Welcome back to another edition of the Devil's Lair. I am Randy Meadows.
And I'm Todd Gann. I'm certainly glad you're with us tonight, and got another great show lined up for you, and another episode full of a lot of devil knowledge there.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, this past 2 weeks have flown by for me.
Well, I'm sure it has. You've got an addition in your house, and your life has changed, so I'm sure it has flown by.
It has, but I mean, I just had to, my wife had to talk me into yesterday that we were really doing a show today.
Right.
And me and Donovan, I think, even talked yesterday, and I swear I said...
Seems like we just did it.
Yeah, I said, we're both wrong. Me and Donovan are both wrong, and this hadn't been 2 weeks, but...
Just a sign you're getting old, Randy.
Yeah, just another sign that I'm getting old.
Well, another one, that's true.
Yeah, that's great. So it's been another 2 weeks of craziness. So we're back, and everything's good except the weather.
Good. That's right. But, you know, we need that rain. I hope it washes some of this pollen away. As you know, I've been suffering through some allergies here, and feel a lot better tonight than it did this morning, but this rain hopefully will help that.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, I suffer from allergies too, luckily.
Yeah, you're allergic to work, but anyway.
Oh, geez, here this goes. Here this goes. So, anyways, well, let's get this thing started. Duck Dynasty comes on tonight, and that's my new obsession. So I got to get to the house and watch it.
Gotcha.
But,
let's roll.
Let's roll. What episode are we in, Donovan? Is this 15? 14 or 15 episodes, and I'm going to start this off anytime we can with awards and accolades.
Sure, great.
And I want to start it off with basketball. The all-region team was announced and whatnot, and on the girls' side of basketball, Dee DeShazer, right, Alexis Johnson, and Brakia Bateman, all three made the all-region team. So just want to give a big kudos and a shout-out to them ladies. And then on the boys' side of things, Brandon Green was the Region Player of the Year, which is kind of really not a big shock.
That's right.
And Donnell Tuff was the Defensive Player of the Year. And just good job with both of these guys. And,
certainly well deserved.
That's right, very well deserved.
Absolutely. So, a couple great kids there.
That's right.
All those basketball players, great kids.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Well deserved. So, Randy, there's a game a lot of folks have seen around South Georgia called In the Game, and
right.
Devoted to high school athletics throughout South Georgia, and I think they even have maybe a North Florida edition, what have you, several different editions. But some of our athletes have been featured in there from time to time, and last month in March, I want to kind of give a shout out to Beth Roberts. She was in the game, so if you haven't seen that issue, it's scattered about everywhere, and pick one of those up.
State champion gymnast, Beth Roberts.
That's exactly right. And then this month, we got a couple more Tift County athletes in there, and one of them being Lakin Saylor, who is, one of our cheerleaders. And I think this young man you may know a little bit, Cameron Perry.
Who?
Cameron Perry. Don't recognize the name? Okay.
No. Try not to.
Try not to. But, up and coming freshman next year, and wrestles, has done very well wrestling, is on the golf team at 8th Street Middle School, and up and rising star there, and proud of Cameron. Good kid, good grades in school, and I'm sure that's a tribute to his mother there.
Definitely, there's no doubt about that. So, congratulations to both of them as well.
Yeah,
one I have a lot to do with, and the other I know a little bit.
Right. Those Roberts girls, that's good girls there, and kind of a lineage there, and gymnastics and cheerleading there. So, look for big things out of Beth in the future too.
Yeah, exactly. So we're actually trying to get an interview set up with her,
right?
As we maybe for next week, and,
right,
and air it the following week.
Right.
So maybe that'll all pan out, and we'll get to learn a little more about Miss Roberts.
Exactly. Very good.
Well, good. Well, what sports you want to jump into?
Baseball's kind of full swing. Kind of getting towards the end of the regular season already with baseball.
Yeah, it's trying to wind down.
Yeah, it's quick.
Yeah, and I was looking at the schedule, And one of the places I got the schedule from was missing some dates.
Oh, really? Wow.
And I had no clue what was going on, so I talked to my baseball aficionado, and he told me that he said, no, that schedule's wrong. And I said, well, I need the right one.
Right.
So,
gotcha.
But let's talk about the schedule later. Let's back up to what's happened in the past 2 weeks.
That's right.
Tift County had a big matchup against Colquitt County. They're number 2 in the region right now. As a matter of fact, let's go over to region standings.
Okay. Let's do that.
In region, Lowndes is 7-1, Colquitt 6-2 at second place. Then you got Camden at 3-3.
Right.
Coffee's 2-2, and we're 2-4.
Right.
And then Brunswick and Valdosta are 0-4. This has not been updated. Tift County played Valdosta and split with them.
Right, they did.
Yeah, and so I don't know exactly where the standings are because I don't have all that information up to date, and I think a lot of that's because of spring break.
Exactly. Well, spring break is kind of difficult getting a little information this week.
That's right. It's been really hard getting info this week. So hopefully in the coming weeks it'll be a little better.
That's right.
So we'll get things going and get a little better information next week.
That's exactly right.
But they played. So Tifton ended up playing Colquitt in 2 games and split with them. Won the first one 10-5.
Right.
And it kind of was a little bit of, I'm not going to say a shocking victory because that's totally unfair to how hard them kids have worked.
That's right.
But Colquitt's pretty darn good.
Colquitt's good, and Tift's had some struggles this season, and to come away with a victory like that was good game by the Tift County baseball team there.
Well, they come back in the second game and lost 1-7.
Right.
There again, it's been
up
all
and
year
down.
long. It's been up and down.
It has. We're talking about schedule. Part of the reason it seems like a shortened season this year is the region games have all been double headers, and I wonder how that really affects the game. If it has an effect, just doing double headers like that at that level.
Well, man, we kind of take it for granted, but baseball's tough to stay in mentally.
It's more of a mental game to me than any other game, really.
A lot of times it is because, you can not have any action and all of a sudden, boom, one swing of the bat and you're in the game, right?
Exactly. The whole game can change.
It can. So it's really a mental drain, and to play a doubleheader, I think it's kind of tough.
I think it would be too. I really do.
It's hard enough keeping the focus of kids as it is.
That's right.
Much less,
as a coach, it's probably hard to really keep them focused for 2 games. And golly, time-wise, it kind of gets stretched out there. They can be out there, from 3:30, 4 o'clock till.
I think they report to the field on Fridays at 1.
At 1.
I mean, so really they're out there getting ready, prepped.
Probably from 1 o'clock till 11 o'clock.
11, yeah. So, and then they do the field afterwards.
That's exactly right. So it's a long afternoon.
It sure is, but, knowing several of the players and their fathers and parents and stuff, I know that the kids get up early and on time with no fuss on Friday game day.
That's right.
Everybody gets excited for that game.
That's it.
So that's good.
That's it. Well, we'll continue to kind of get some more updates there and keep you posted as how the baseball team's doing. And
we've got something lined up with Coach Kirk coming up soon. So
exactly.
I hope it'll be next week.
Maybe so.
We can get him also.
Right. Exactly. And shout out to Coach Kirk. I mean, he's doing a great job this year, and
certainly.
I think he's basically trying to rebuild the program a little bit and get it headed in the right direction. Keep hearing great things.
That's right.
I really do. I've talked to him a couple of times, and he's a great guy.
I bet I've talked to 100 people about baseball. One person has said something negative.
Just
out of all that. And that's good. I mean, that's good.
Oh, absolutely.
And my response to him was, look, you got to give this man time to do what he's going to do.
That's exactly right.
And he's going to figure some things out. He's going to learn some things.
That's exactly right.
But I think he's doing a fantastic job.
I do. I really do. Everything I've heard is just nothing but positive.
That's right. So. He holds himself well, and his family, they,
That's right.
Pillars of the community.
That's right.
That's what all you can ask for.
And I don't know what is fair to mention this not, but on a personal level, if he's had some struggles, had some, a tragedy in his family, and he's had to kind of overcome, and lost a young child, and tough to deal with, I'm sure, and to keep your focus on coaching and the kids, it's been a lot to overcome, but I'm glad he's hung in there, and I'm glad he's in Tift County.
Exactly, back home.
That's exactly back home.
Back home where he belongs.
Home folks.
So congratulations to him. He's doing a wonderful job. So, let's jump back into this region stuff. Colquitt split the games there. We come back on the 26th on a Tuesday and played Berrien.
Right.
And we won that game 13-3.
Exactly.
In 6 innings.
Right, and a big win.
Yeah, big win. They needed it. And then we turned around on Monday and played Northside Warner Robins and beat them 11-0. So again, that's another big big win for them. And you know, in a 2-week span, they're 3-1.
Right.
And that's not bad. Now they have another game Friday. They got a doubleheader in Brunswick.
Yep.
Which is good. And from what I understand, the guys are going to go over play their doubleheader, stay the night, and I think they're going to hang out at the beach on Saturday and kind of do some team building stuff.
Well, that's good. That's
the other thing that I've seen about Coach Kirk. He's done a lot of team building stuff and whatnot. Exactly. You know, again, that's for the benefit of his players, but for him too. They all got to get together.
They all got to get together and bond and mesh, and
that's right.
You know, so that's good.
That is very good. So, so they got Brunswick, and then what else do they have coming up? They play Veterans in the next 2 weeks.
Right, and that's a new high school up in
Warner Robins.
Right, Houston County. Exactly.
And then on next Friday, the following Friday, they have Coffee, which is a doubleheader. Now, that's a huge game.
Oh, yeah.
Because
actually, it's in Coffee County.
It's in Coffee County, doubleheader. A huge game because that's going to, you know, right now we're shooting for that 3 and 4 spot.
That's right.
In the playoffs.
Exactly.
And we're trying to get there, and we've got to beat Coffee to get there.
That's exactly right. So that's very important game.
Yep.
Very important. So
they got some bats that are struggling right now.
Yeah, they are. They are, and you know, this will be the time to get it turned around for sure.
Yep, now's the time, and they've got the schedule right now that can really get things rolling and get them into the playoffs.
That's exactly right.
With a little bit of pitching and you know, cut down on some of their errors, they're going to be fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So good. What else we got, Todd?
Well, you know, the Gymnastics, their regular season's kind of wrapped up. You know, they've had a great season. You know, focused on the state qualifier right now. That's coming up April 19th and 20th. That'll be at Lovett High School. You know, and once again, we're looking for the gymnastics team to do great. They've had a great season so far, and you know, looking for them to go to state again and bring home all the gold from state. So you know, they're preparing for that. Really don't have a whole lot going on. You know, so that's kind of.
I saw that they went over to Moultrie and competed.
They did. You know, they've competed over there, and that I believe it was 4 or 5 teams. Came away pretty fortunate there, and did very well over in Moultrie. Over in Moultrie, they did. Right.
I think they won by like a point
or something like that. Exactly.
Against Lowndes.
Which
shocked me a little bit. I don't know.
Well, you don't hear much about a Lowndes being that good in gymnastics, you know. I think, you know, region-wise, Tift County's done so well over the past few years. You kind of overlook these other teams sometimes. Yeah, I guess you do, and that's easy to fall into. And I'm just wondering if maybe Coach didn't, you know, it coming to the end of the season, maybe rest some kids or something.
That's possible. I don't know. Young kids get in there. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I'm really not.
I don't know how that works either.
Exactly.
But, you know, I wish them all the luck. They're headed up to, they got sectionals in Lovett. Is that what that is?
State qualifier.
Qualifiers
right,
in Lovett.
Exactly.
And maybe next week if we can interview Beth, she can explain a little more of that to us.
Exactly.
So,
we're still learning some of this stuff.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure when they have a meet this weekend at Thomas County Central.
Is that right?
Yeah, so maybe that's a tune-up, and then on the 19th is the qualifier.
Yeah.
And then state's the 26th. So they still got a couple of weeks of some of some stuff going on here.
Yeah. Now I guess maybe as far as regular season competitions, maybe that means like region competitions is, you know, kind of they'll wrap that up probably.
That's right, maybe, and the dates could be wrong on here too.
Right.
So.
Who knows?
But that's right. But they'll definitely get it taken out. So.
That's right.
Well, good. What else we want to talk about there, Todd?
What else we got going on? Golf? You got some updates on golf?
No, I just got their schedule.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten any more information. I did see that the Lady Devils finished second at the Blue Devil Invitational.
Right.
And that was like on the 27th, I believe.
Somewhere along through there.
Yeah, 28th, 27th, somewhere in there. And they finished with a score of 256, 15 strokes behind Colquitt. And if anybody knows anything about golf in this region, Colquitt girls are always pretty
tough.
good. Yeah. It says here that Ware finished in 3rd, and I just dropped my pen. But
It's live.
Yeah, that's right. Colquitt had the low medalist of the tournament. Her name is Taylor Marie Griner. And then there was a picture in the paper of the Gazette that had the girls of the team. But I do want to mention their names. They were Kaylee Miller, Abby Cromer, Anna Greer, Lindsay Forshee, Sarah Hampton, Kelsey Ballon, Lindsay Ballon. Am I saying that right? Beelan, that's right. I'm sorry. I know
it's okay.
Kelsey Beelan, Lindsay Beelan, and Aubrey Pollock. So congratulations to those girls.
Absolutely.
I know Coach Rusty was excited.
Oh, I guarantee you.
And the girls were even more excited. So good luck to them. Their schedule coming up, the girls, they got to go to Colquitt this weekend. Next weekend or next week they go to Coffee County. And on the 22nd, they have the region tournament. So 2 tournaments and then getting ready for region. And obviously they're going to be gunning for Colquitt.
Right.
Which is typically the case. On the guys' side, I don't have any updates as far as scores or anything. But I do know they've got their schedule coming up, and it'll be this weekend. It'll be the C.D. Moore Blue Devil Invitational, the big BDI tournament.
BDI tournament.
Yeah,
right.
Which is always a good tournament. And then they're going to Hardaway over in Columbus for the Larry Gaither Invitational. And then on the 22nd, they have region. And then on the 27th is the Spring Hill Classic, which is here.
Right.
And then on the 6th, they'll have sectionals. And then on the 20th will be state. So, and that's in May. So they still have a lot left.
A lot left, exactly.
A lot going on and a lot left, boys and girls.
Right,
so,
right.
Good luck to them as they compete and try to bring home a state title and a region title.
Absolutely.
So, so good. Maybe Coach Davis will get us some info back in here.
That's right. And we see him from time to time. We just, next time I see him, I'll try to pin him down and get some information there and kind of how they're doing and who's doing well for the team and that sort of thing. So,
yeah, and he won't get what he comes up there for if he doesn't give us some information.
That's
How's
exactly
that? Is that a deal?
That's a deal.
We're going to make that happen. Yeah. We'll hold him over a barrel.
I think we hold the keys to that information, don't we?
We certainly do.
So to speak.
Yeah, so to speak.
We know who holds the keys.
Exactly. So,
oh, goodness.
What else you got tonight, Todd?
Well, soccer's still going on. Soccer team, the girls have done very well this year. They've had some success here lately. Recently they defeated Camden County, had a pretty solid win there, and region-wise, I'm not sure how they're doing. I think they're leading the region right now. The boys kind of struggled a little bit. I think they have won 4 out of the last 5 games, I believe. So, seemed like the boys' soccer team's turned things around. So, they've had a lot of success in the last few years, and once again, this week being spring break, it's been a little difficult getting some information. My contacts are apparently at the beach.
I know, man. Everybody we know is at the beach.
So we're kind of piecing together what we can here. And
so basically, what you're saying is we should have went to the beach this week.
Well, we should have. It's Wednesday. We can still go.
It's not too late, is it? I guess I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah. Well, weather's pretty nasty down there. I understand.
Good. I'm glad.
It should be.
Rains them out. Yeah. So unless your wife's watching, then I want them to be able to stay at the beach. Are they staying down there?
I think she's somewhere in between.
Oh, okay.
Quincy, Florida, and Tallahassee, Florida, right now, headed this way.
Well, good. That'll be fine then. So where'd they go?
Mexico Beach.
Oh, I didn't. I thought they went to the East Coast.
No, they went.
Well, good. Yeah. Even better for them.
That's right. That's right. So what else, Randy?
Let's see. What do we have? We've hit on golf. We've hit on soccer, gymnastics. What am I leaving out?
Baseball.
Tennis.
You got some updates on tennis there, don't you?
I got a little bit of updates. The Lady Devils defeated the Coffee County Packers 3-2, but then in the next match they lost 4-1. So, or the male Devils, the guys lost 4-1. So. S.K. Bowen, which is, what is her name? I got it right here. You just hold tight. I've got it. I had it. Sarah Catherine Bowen. It looks like she defeated Conley Ward 6-0, 6-0. And number 2 singles player, Taylor Whitehead, defeated Courtney Terrell 6-2, 7-6, 8-6.
Gotcha.
Number 1 doubles, Heather Sattler and Rebecca Crumley defeated Trevany and Radney 7-6, 7-5, 6-1. And the guys got a win from number 2 singles, Chase Griffin. Yeah, and he defeated his opponent 6-0, 6-2, so he went through that pretty easily. And then they turned around and they played Irwin or Erin. Erin, depending on where you're from.
Yeah, depends on who you know from Erin County.
That's right. They swept Erin, and they won both competitions 5-0. So congratulations to them. I'm going to mention the tennis team right here while I've got it here in front of me. We'll do ladies first. We always talk guys. Let's talk ladies first. Your seniors for the varsity girls is Sarah Catherine Bowen, senior Maggie Hobson. And then your junior class would be Taylor Whitehead, Carmen Chi, Heather Sattler, Keegan Kelly. Your sophomore class is Ariel Dasher, Rebecca Crumley, Kayla Cadwell. Your freshman class is Haley Burgess, Rachel Wall, Jordan Hill, Megan Bowen, and Madison Fallon. And that is your girls' 2012-2013 tennis team. And for your guys, you've got Gavin Barnes, who's a senior, Chase Griffin, senior, Jack Lee, senior, Bryce Moretz, senior, J.P. Short, senior, Ryan Coker, senior. So pretty stout senior class there.
Some seniors there.
Yeah, they're loaded with seniors. Junior will be Colin Summerlin, Grant Cordell, David Gibbs, Chris Glenn. That'll be your junior class. Sophomores, Shiv Patel, Quay Clark. That's it for sophomores. They're struggling on sophomore class. But here we go, freshman class. These guys have got a ton of people. They do. Matthew Fisher, Hank McElroy, Dylan Kimenis, Matthew Marsh, Adam Saddle, John T. Crosby, Bailey Lawson, Zach Mullis, and Connor McPherson. Wow. So that's like 11 kids right there that's waiting to move up. And from what I understand, most of those kids are pretty good already.
Yeah, they are. I know quite a few of those kids, and good kids too.
Yeah. So that's good. You know, tennis is a different sport, and it's kind of tough, man. If you get out there and play, it's kind of like golf. It looks easier than what it really is. And you get out there, and it's just like, ooh, my throat. Wet my whistle. I'm getting kind of dry in the throat. I think I may talk too much. I don't know. What else are we missing? Well, what of our other spring sports?
You know, we got some track and field going on. I don't really have anything on track and field. We'll try to get some stuff put together on track and field. And
I did. I tried to get some stuff on track and field. It's just, I don't know. I did send our AD an email asking him to help get us some information if he didn't mind, because, you know, we're here to help them.
That's exactly right.
And they're pretty good about that kind of stuff.
They are. They are. They certainly are. And we'll get that. Certainly.
Yep. So a lot going on.
That's it.
Kind of a down, week, like you said, spring break and stuff.
That's exactly right. And I guess it's time for a break.
I guess so.
They come back. It won't be long. This year will be over, Randy.
I know, and that's the thing. I was kind of looking at the calendar today. As a matter of fact, we've got. I mean, we really realistically have a couple of episodes left.
Right,
and I don't know how much longer we're going to get into things, but we're going to wrap it up at some point in time. We've got a couple more shows left, but I do want to mention, with those few shows we've got left, we're putting together a giveaway package.
That's right.
And whether it's a package or just some individual stuff, we're working on that. And by the time our next episode hits the air, we're going to have some giveaways going on. So please stay tuned for that. That's going to be
that's right.
It's going to be interesting.
That's exactly right.
Trying to decide if we're going to do it like the what's the show with Monty Hall? Not the match game. The Let's make a deal.
Let's make a deal.
You know, you have that big box
That's
on
right.
stage, and it like will be a sow,
Right.
and, or something like that, or a donkey, or something.
Exactly,
like that.
exactly.
You know, we may have a gift that's a donkey gift,
Hey,
and who knows?
Who knows? That's exactly right.
But a winner is a winner. So,
That's exactly right.
And speaking of winners, we got one last segment to kind of get into, and we had an interview with the air rifle team,
Right.
and I almost forgot about it. I'm sitting here talking.
Well,
I'm
I was fixing to get you in there. I hadn't forgotten about it.
But winners, we have an interview with the winningest air rifle student to ever grace the halls of Tift County High School, and that's Miss Brooke Hester. She come in studio and did an interview with us, and Donovan's got it queued up, and we'll watch it and talk about it afterwards and kind of go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Hello, everyone. We're here with Brooke Hester, senior shooter for the Tift County High School Air Rifle team. Welcome to the show, Brooke. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I know you got a lot going on, state competition and stuff going on in was it next week it is, I believe?
Yes, sir.
And we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to visit with us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and a little bit about air rifle, because we don't all know everything about air rifle. I'm trying to learn as much as I can. So I'm glad that you were in here today to kind of brush us up on some things. But just tell us a little bit about yourself and air rifle.
Well, I'm a senior in high school. I've been shooting for 3 years, and I've broke my personal record this year.
Really?
So,
What is your personal record?
290.
290. And that was in competition, right?
Yes, sir.
What's your highest score outside of competition? Have you shot over 290?
No, sir. 290.
Been
But
close?
I had 103 fever when I shot it, so
Well,
pretty
we should give you a
excited.
few points for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So, well, why did you choose air rifle over, other sports out there? What got you started into air riflery and whatnot? Am I saying that correct? Air riflery? That just sounds hard to say.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I was playing soccer the first year that they had it, and then some of my friends were in it, and they really enjoyed it, and I've always shot, like, all my life. I learned as a child how to shoot, so.
well, good.
Yep.
So, got started very young, and, well, not really very young, but kind of late, I guess, really, in the big scheme of things, right?
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of people in the state, I guess.
Yeah. I didn't start out with BB and at 4-H. That's how a lot of them started shooting.
So you just picked up the gun and just started tearing them up, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm talking about. Good. So, what are your pre-match routines? What do you do before, the day before, an hour before? What exactly do you go through before you get ready to shoot?
Well, we try to eat healthy food, stay away from sugars and caffeine and all. Shoot, like Subway's good, and we'll drink lots of water. Try to stay away from sweet tea and Dr. Pepper, and I'm banned from having Dr. Pepper before a match. And just try to relax before we shoot. So.
Well, that's good. Now, do you stay away from the sugary foods because of jitters and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it
Is
makes
that
you
why?
really jittery and hyper.
Okay, I didn't know. I was just, I'm learning as you go, and I can't imagine how many people. I know I help coach wrestling and have helped in various other sports, and that's what people do is load up on sugars and carbs and that kind of stuff. So it's just the opposite with you guys, which makes sense. Plus, it's bad for you, right? Make your teeth rot out and that kind of.
Yeah, but.
We'll go with that. So, are you superstitious? Do you have anything that, do you wear the same pair of socks every time?
No, sir. I just
Really?
go how I am.
I guess if you're superstitious, you would try to get 103 fever every time you shot. So
Yeah.
you would shoot. Okay, well, that makes sense. So, you mentioned that your best score ever was a 290.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming, is that the best we've ever had at Tift County, or?
I think so.
I would think it's pretty good, I guess, from what I understand. So, as you go out and see other competitors, is there anybody out there that you kind of looked up to, maybe as a underclassman, or see other people out in the state that are shooting, and you're like, man, I like that guy's style, that girl's style. Is there somebody like that for you?
Cockle County, there's some shooters on their team that shoot really high, and I just try to follow them kind of and shoot up because they always shoot pretty high. So.
Yeah. We want to march to our own drum, don't we?
Yeah.
We don't want to follow Colquitt, but
Well,
I see what you're saying.
they had really good shooters.
Yeah, I know. I hear as much about them as I do you guys, and that's a little unfair, but we're gonna fix that. That's what this show's about. So, do you ever just sit around and daydream about shooting targets and random things and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I hunt dove and deer, so.
So you do hunt outside of shooting targets. You
yes, sir.
shoot dove. Well, that's deadly. So just remember that. I've gone blank. I'm sorry. Outside of here, me and my co-host Todd have been talking about we want to get with you guys and have a shooting competition with you and somebody else or whoever. Do you think you can beat Todd? Yes.
I think so, yeah.
I think you can too. So, Todd, she's coming after you, buddy. I'm just letting you know that now. So, what are the hardest aspects of air rifle?
Probably staying calm. A lot of people, they get nervous before they shoot, and just trying to stay calm and not be jittery before a match is probably the hardest thing to do.
At this point, do you still get nervous, butterflies?
Yeah, on big competitions.
I'm sure.
So.
What is the easiest aspect of shooting?
Probably that you don't have to have any experience shooting anything before you shoot. I mean, you can pretty much shoot. It's not like shooting any other gun. It's totally different.
Okay, I'm with you. So an idiot like me or Todd can go out there and do this, is what you're saying. Mm-hmm. So you just leveled the playing field for us right there. That's what you did. So, plans outside of high school, is there scholarships available for someone that's on the air rifle team?
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
There are scholarships for shooting from CMP. We go to air rifle camp there every year.
Well, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. What are your plans whenever you get done with high school?
I'm going to go to ABAC for 2 years and get my core classes and then go to UGA and get my wildlife biology degree.
Well, that's good. And then you're going to come back and take Coach's place one day?
Might.
Nothing wrong with that. So maybe it'll be a long time from now, right?
Yeah, a long time from now.
She's not ready to retire, right?
Oh, no.
No, not at all.
Have a long time.
Well, good. So any advice that you might have for somebody who's wanting to get into air rifle and shooting?
It's really fun. You get into it and it just becomes a big part of your life. Shoot everything you can because it's fun. And
I don't know if you need to be saying that on.
Well, not at everybody, but shooting's really fun. If you've done it all your life, it just becomes part of you.
Well, down here in the South, it comes natural, right? I mean,
yeah.
You get a baby bottle and a gun. That's basically what you get when you're a kid around here. Male, female, doesn't matter. So, one thing I did want to ask you, are the girls better shooter than boys?
We are a little steadier than boys. I think we can calm down better than boys, too.
That's what I think, too. I think guys would get all just hyper and overpumped, and girls just cool and calm and whatnot. Yeah. So I figured you guys would probably shoot them better. Plus, my buddy's little girl said, girls do something. Wait, I forgot what it said. A little saying about girls are cool and boys drool or something like that. That's what I thought about whenever I wrote that question down. So, well, good. Your biggest influences. Obviously, we know Coach Rucker has got some kind of influence on you. And any other influences on you that's...
My mom was. She, kind of helped me with everything and supported me, and she went to everything she could, every air rifle match, if she could make it off EPS. So yeah,
I know she was probably one of the hardest workers I've ever known. Like every time I saw her, she was just busting her butt working. So and worked for a reason and a purpose, and that was a wonderful aspect. It seems like you're kind of falling in those shoes, haven't you? That's good. Well, I'm glad. She's proud of you, I know. So. What other, besides shooting, dove and silly boys and random things like that, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
I volunteer with Georgia Wildlife Rescue Association. I volunteered with Chet Powell for about 5 years when he was at Reed Bingham, too. Okay. So I volunteer with that.
And what does that entail? What do you do?
We rescue orphaned and injured wildlife, and we get them to rehabbers if we can't take care of them for a long time so that they can be released back into the wild.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Have you ever kept anything for yourself? Or?
Well, I've held on to some squirrels for a while, but we're not really supposed to have them yet. But I'm working on getting my rehabilitator's license so that I can keep them long periods.
Well, that's good. I've never even heard of that. So I know that kind of stuff is out there, but that's really good. So, well, how have you left your mark on the Tift County High School air rifle team?
going forward?
I feel like I've set a high goal for them to reach. I mean, I've shot the highest and I won area last year, so I feel like they can look up to that and try to shoot better and just make a goal for themselves.
I agree 100%. From here forward, whenever you talk about air rifle, I believe your name's going to be right there with it. So congratulations to you for that. So, one last thing, as a shooter, how do you feel about this gun control issue that's going on? I mean, obviously you're pro-gun.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are pro-gun, but I mean, how do you feel about it?
Well, I've seen things that guns can do to people, and I've always been taught never point a gun at somebody, whether it's loaded or not. So
Right.
same thing with the air rifle. It's dangerous. So just keep it downrange.
So, comes from instruction and direction.
Just practice and just keep doing it all the time.
Well, wonderful. Well, as we wrap up here, I want you to tell the community about your accolades as a student athlete, and if you could, this is your chance to brag about you and about your program. Why should somebody get involved in the air rifle team?
It's really fun. It teaches you a lot of responsibility, keeping down on the sugars and just what you do before a match, you have to always do, and you just have to be in routine and just don't splurge on, sugars and stuff when you're not supposed to, because it'll just end very badly.
So, like the day of a match, do you just go not eating?
Well, just eat.
Eat right, eat smart.
Eat right. Yeah.
I'm at a disadvantage already. There's no way, if I don't have my afternoon Hershey bar, I'm going to be...
Yeah,
I'm plotting. I'm going to take you girls out now. I'm telling you, me and Todd are going to beat y'all. I'm saying it right here.
Yeah,
winning.
We love sugar after a match and ice cream. And
do you load up on sugar when you get done?
Yeah, I like sweet teas and everything else.
I bet. I don't know what I could do without a day of sweet tea. Oh, my goodness, that'd be terrible.
Yeah.
So, well, congratulations to you. Good luck next week. And we wish you the best. And we appreciate everything you've done for Tift County and the community and the air rifle team. And I know Coach Rucker does too. And we look forward to you coming back to Tift County maybe and doing some things in the future. Hopefully, you're going to come back in a week from now and be a state champ. Sound like a plan?
Hopefully, yeah.
Sounds great.
Sounds like
that's Brooke Hester, everybody, senior at Tift County High School Air Rifle Team. She'll be traveling to state next week, and she appreciates all your support and your help.
All right, Randy. Great interview there. I appreciate you doing that, and lots of good information from Brooke. Very proud of her as a Tift County student athlete in Tift County.
Yeah, next week she's got state over in Columbus at Fort Benning. I believe we mentioned that.
Right.
Also, she has prom the same day. So she's going to go over there and win a state championship and turn around and come back and go to prom that night.
How about that? Wow.
I wish her all the luck, and she's a fine young lady and with a fine program, and she's going to do great things.
She is.
Wherever she goes.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited. We also have an interview with Coach Rucker, the head coach, that we're going to run at the end of the show. And it was probably the most interesting interview that I've ever seen and done, because I learned a lot about what air rifle does and what it takes. Mm-hmm. It's more than just picking up a gun and firing it.
Yeah, you were telling me a little bit about it, and it's a big commitment.
It really is, man. I was thoroughly impressed. And in the interview with Brooke, I was just, I've never thought about the sugar thing. You can't eat sugar, and I'm out. There ain't no way I could.
Boy, I know several folks that I can think of right now they'd die.
Yeah, me one of them. Die with it, die without it. So, but just the discipline that they have, just having to go, and it's like anything else.
It is. I think every kind of sport, whatever it is that you commit to, there's certain things that you learn to do without, and it's because you love what you're doing.
That's right. It's a non-contact sport, but you don't really. You don't know the physicality of it. You've got to sit there and have that muscle memory, and holding a gun and positions and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And it really is, again, there's a huge mental strain, but then there's a little bit of physical strain to it too.
Exactly.
So Coach Rucker goes into all of that. She talks about her program, where it's going, where it's been, and it's just a really, really good interview.
Good.
And I encourage everybody to watch it. Mm-hmm. She does a phenomenal job with what she has. You know, somebody told us a long time ago that, you know, you lay out the pieces and the board to the game and I'll play the game. So that's just what she does, and she does a phenomenal job. So kudos to her in that program. Fourth year in existence. It's a new program. She's only been doing this about 4 years herself, exactly. And they have come a long way.
You know, they have, and you know, proud of all those kids. It's you know, to compete on the level they compete on, and you know, to have the success they have, especially in such an early program, young program.
That's right. And her assistant coach is David Hare, the Hair Man. So she also gives him a big shout out and thanks him. And the 4-H program they have is their feeder program. Exactly. All of it works together to make something special.
That's exactly right.
And that's what this show is all about. Unity and community. So
there you go. Wow.
I come over that just like that, man. I'm going to have to write that down somewhere.
You better. Because if you don't write it down, I'll forget it.
Unity and community. C-O.
Just abbreviate. I'll remember what it is.
There we go. Sounds good. We got it. So he's the brains and I'm the good looks. So
wow, we're in trouble.
We're in trouble both ways, aren't we? All right. So stick around, watch Coach Rucker's interview. It's a great thing. With that, I guess we're going to wrap the show up and end with Coach Rucker's interview. Yep. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks with a lot of good giveaways.
A lot of good giveaways and hopefully a whole lot more information.
Yeah. So everybody get back from spring break. Get us your information.
That's right.
And until then, we appreciate everything you guys do for us and share this stuff with your friends and family. Yeah. And fear the pitchfork.
Go Devils.
All right, everybody, we're here with Coach Rucker with the Tift County High School Air Rifle team. And welcome to the show, Miss Rucker.
Thank you, Randy.
Miss Coach Dr. Rucker. I don't want to forget anything. So
I think David Hare started that.
I'm sure. And every time I hear your name, that's what goes through my head. And so I apologize, or I don't know how to really handle that. But
I answer to any of those.
I answer to a bunch of things, too. So if you will, explain to everybody about the air rifle team, you know, a little bit about what it does, what it's about, and just give us a rundown of it, if you don't mind.
Sure. Actually, shooting sports there are many different events in shooting sports, and we happen to shoot what is called precision air rifle. There's a sporter air rifle competition, but we shoot a different kind of gun. Sporter is limited. The gun can't cost more than $500, and it has to be, you know, a particular kind of gun. But the guns we shoot they have more bells and whistles, so to speak.
Yeah.
And they do cost a little more than that. But the precision air rifle is just what it implies. I mean, you have to shoot with precision. You're shooting targets at 10 meters, which is a little over 33 feet. And the center of a bull is the size of a period. A typed period. So our shooters are shooting 3 different positions. They shoot prone, standing, and kneeling. There is a competition that is prone that the International Shooting Sports Federation has, and there are competitions out there. But in our particular sport with GHSA, we do shoot 3 positions. In each position, they can score the maximum is 100 points. If they shoot a perfect score in a position. So the highest they can shoot is 300. So Brooke's 290 is pretty impressive.
It is. It's very impressive. So I'm going to hold these up right now. Do you want to hold one up?
That's fine. These are 2 of Brooke's targets from the last match where we competed in Columbus. And the one over here is her prone target, and you can see most of those are center shots. She had a 98 out of 100, so only 2 of her targets did she not shoot in the center.
Right. That's that one. Mm-hmm. That's prone, right? 98.
Prone, yeah. And that actually is usually the easiest position because more of your body is flat on the floor, and it's easier to be steady in that position, and that's something you really have to work hard for in standing. With prone, you can use a sling. That's a piece of equipment that's very helpful in helping you steady the gun and hold the gun. Standing is the more difficult position. It's also the only position where you cannot use a sling. They make it even more difficult for you with the rules. But standing, she shot a 94, I believe. Is that a 94? Yeah. So Brooke is one of our strong standing shooters. Typically in standing, when you are competing against other teams, if if you can win the standing position, usually you win the match because it is one of the more difficult of the positions. And that's her kneeling target. I think she shot 95. Kneeling is difficult for a lot of shooters because of it's uncomfortable. They have to get down on one knee. If they're a right-handed shooter, they're down on their right knee. Of course, we have one left-handed shooter, so he shoots everything the opposite of the other kids. But when you're down on that knee for 10 minutes, and that's normally the length of time that they're given to shoot that position, your foot goes to sleep or it starts to hurt, and you've got to ignore that because your leg and your foot is still going to be there when you finish shooting the position, but it's just convincing the shooters to ignore that. To ignore your body and still shoot the target that can be a little difficult at first. But once they accept the fact that that's just part of it, they do a better job. One of the positions that we really do need to work on, we've been working a lot on standing, and I'm very pleased with how far we've come with standing. But our kneeling position is what got us this year. So we need to do some more work on kneeling for next year. Prone, we are good to go with prone. Usually we've got our top 4 shooting mid to high 90s. In prone, I'd like to see some 100s because they could. They've done it in practice. They just didn't do it in a match.
Does age affect how you shoot? Now, obviously, age should
does.
affect.
It definitely does.
If you're older, do you shoot better down because your muscles are stronger, body's a little more...
I don't know if it's necessarily a physical, but in my short amount of time coaching, I've only coached this sport for 4 years, but I have noticed from my shooters in these 4 years, the older shooters mentally can settle themselves down and they can focus better than my younger shooters can. And it's not that the younger shooters and the older shooters are that different in their style or their ability physically, but mentally this game, and I tell my shooters all the time, this sport is maybe 10% physical. The other 90% is your mind and being able to focus and being able to stay on target for that amount of time, to be able to ignore sometimes when your body's telling you it's got to move, you've got to stay in that position a little while longer, or to ignore if you're uncomfortable in your equipment, you've got to find a place where you are comfortable. They've got to come to a place where they realize, what their natural point of aim is. That's one of the hardest things to coach, and it's an abstract concept when you're trying to explain it to somebody, but for them to get down in position and find that position where they are aiming at the target, and it's called natural point of aim because it's that natural point where you are holding the gun right on the target, right in the center of the bull, and getting them to reject a shot that isn't right is one of the hardest things to get them to learn.
I'm so impressed right now. It's unreal. That's amazing. I've never thought of it in depth like that. And I mean, I guess it's kind of simple, but it's so hard at the same. Does that make sense?
It's simple. It's not easy.
It sounds simple, but it's not easy, right?
That's
exactly.
it. It is simple, but it's not easy. I mean, we can show anyone how to hold the gun. We can tell them how to get in position. We can set them up in position. They can find the position. But it's the little things that they have to do to be shooting where Brooke is shooting. Usually a shooter by the end of the first season, I feel very good if they're shooting right around 260. If they've never shot before, that's doing really well. And we've got several shooters who, for the first year, this was their first year, they're right there. But now they've got to finesse their shots a little bit. They've got to finesse the position. They've got to develop their muscle memory, which is one reason we have such a long season. We actually start in August and shoot all the way to April.
Do you really?
Yeah. Our first week usually is the first week in August that we can start practices. I usually hold off a few weeks, and we have tryouts toward the end of August, 1st September, because it is really a long haul for the kids.
Wow, that's amazing. So, have you ever seen a 300?
I've never seen a 300 in competition. I have seen... Now, Olympic shooters, we shoot the same kind of guns the Olympic shooters shoot, and you would not have seen our sport at the Olympics unless you had the live streaming, because NBC won't show guns on TV.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah. Even though their shows have people shooting at people, they, I guess, have some kind of rule about that. But if you had the live streaming for the Olympics this past year, you could have watched. Now, you would have had to get up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning to do that, because I did that, to be able to watch.
Well, you took my next question away. Did you get up that early? I guess you did.
I did, to see the ladies' air rifle. I didn't catch the men's air rifle. I was not around a computer at that time, but they were shooting those kind of scores, 298, 299. I mean, if they may miss one. But we actually shot against a team, Columbus High School, last week, and a young lady, their high score shot a 293. Wow. And that's the highest that we've shot against this year. So
that's pretty good. When's the state competition over with, or did it finish?
No, we actually have brackets that we play through. Once we finish our region or our area, it's an area sport, not a region sport. So we compete against schools of all classifications in our area. And our area championships had to be finished by the second week in March. And then we started shooting. The first round is called state sectionals. Yeah. And we had a pretty easy time with state sectionals. We shot against Appalachia High School out of Winder. And then the next week, which was last week, we shot in the semifinals against Columbus. And schools who make it out of the semifinals go on to shoot at the state competition.
That'll be this coming up weekend?
It's not this weekend, but the following weekend, the 13th of April.
14th, yeah. I thought that's what I saw online
it's April 13th.
A couple weeks ago. Well, good. What is Colquitt? Did they make it?
Actually, Colquitt lost their semifinal match against Upson Lee. And there is another way to make it to the state competition. The team that, and they took 2 last year, the 2 highest scoring teams who lost in the semifinals, they gave them a bid to go to the state match. I don't know if Colquitt's score was high enough to get a bid. I do know Upson Lee outshot them by about 6 or 7 points. I think they shot an 11:33 and Colquitt shot an 11:26.
Oh my!
So I feel for Gunny down in Moultrie, because I know his team definitely could have competed at state. So if they don't get a bid, I feel for them, because they were a very good team this year.
Well, maybe they will. Mm-hmm. Some people despise other people in our region, but I'm just the opposite. I try to pull for them. If we're not in it, I want somebody from our region to win. Mm-hmm. So, but are you that way?
I am. I'm the only female coach in our area, and I think there's one other female coach in the state. So I'm among many men whenever we go to competition, but they're all very kind to me. The first year they were really kind, because they knew that it was my first year coaching the sport. I got into it through 4-H. My daughter shot BB, and I became certified as a rifle coach through the state 4-H organization. And then when they wanted to start a team, they approached the ROTC instructors first, because most of the teams are ROTC teams that are in our area. In fact, I think all of them are. But they really are focused on their drill teams, and they declined. And so I said, well, I volunteered. And at that time, Mike Collier was our athletic director. Mike's like, what do you know about shooting? I'm like, well, I know a little bit, but I can learn. I'm not afraid to learn. So we started out. Brooke came on my second year. She was a new shooter my second year as a coach. But we have learned something new every year. I told David Hare, who's my assistant coach, that when we go to the coaches meeting this year, I'm not afraid to speak up. Now, the first couple of years, I kind of kept my thoughts to myself, because I thought, I may say something and I don't know what I'm talking about. But I feel very confident. I have an opinion now, I think, that matters. They were really kind to me the first year, because they would help me out and give me tips and tell me what my shooters needed to do. And then when we came along so quickly, they quit doing that.
Well, imagine that.
They quit telling me their tricks.
Well,
but we pick up something from everybody when we compete. Like the other day when we competed against Columbus, I noticed something that they attached to their clear bore indicators, which is a CBI for short, that we put through our rifles. They had a little clip on the end of their clear bore indicator that they had clipped to their apparel, their shooting jacket. And I thought, we need to do that. So you look for things that other teams are doing that you can pick up and you can use, whether it's with equipment or, maybe it's something that they are doing, to get ready, or, some little routine they go through. You always try and pick up, especially from teams that are better teams, because you want to be at that level, so you pay attention to people who are at that level, and you want to compete with people who are at that level if you want to be there.
Exactly.
So.
What is the hardest aspect of coaching air rifle?
Well, with my team, it's getting them to be quiet. They like each other, and which is a good thing. Many of the kids on the team, about half of them, have they grew up in the 4-H shooting sports program, so they're familiar with shooting already. And it was very easy to translate shooting a BB gun, because it's the same positions, to shooting air rifle. You just have more equipment and a different gun. It's a little heavier. But they know each other really well, and they bond, and so they like to chat and be social, and I like to get in there and get things done. So that's the hardest part, getting them focused. And Brooke would agree with that, I'm sure, because she's normally the one over there looking at me going, oh, when can we start? And the rest of them are running around. It's not that they're being bad. They just, it's hard to get them focused. When I can get them all on the line and get them shooting, then we're good to go. But it's just getting them
to that point. I can sympathize with you.
Actually, it's the other thing that's pretty tough for me as a coach right now is when I've got that shooter who's shooting high 260s, low 270s, and it seems like that's all they're shooting, and I can tell they're getting frustrated, and we can work on things with their position. I don't know, it seems to be there's a plateau that some of them reach, and we just have to shoot through it. I mean, that's what I found so far. We just have to keep shooting. We have to keep doing what we know is right. I actually had a shooter last week who got really nervous at a match and didn't shoot anywhere near the score that he's been shooting during the regular season. And so we sat down and wrote out his shot plan, and we taped it up on his offhand stand, because, that's one of the things that, they know to go through their shot plan in their minds. But, that's one of the things that we can do. Just, little things help sometimes, help them focus, because he was nervous about it being, a playoff match. He wanted to do really well. Well, he didn't need to worry about it being a playoff match. He needed to think about every shot he took, what's the procedure I have to go through to make my shot. So, just finding little things that are going to help them mentally, that are going to help them, refine their position. Sometimes that's tricky. So
what now? You said a shot plan. Now, what if I was to come in there just totally ignorant, which is exactly how I would be coming in there? What kind of shot plan would you have together for me? Could you run that down for us?
Well, it probably would be a lot more detailed than what I had for him, because he knows the basics. You would have to think about where your feet go, and you would have to plant your feet, and you would have to get in position. Say we're shooting the standing position. You make sure your feet are parallel. Then you would have your gun, put your gun in your shoulder, the butt in your shoulder, and prop it on your offhand stand. And then you would, some of them actually move around a little bit to try and find their natural point of aim. You find your natural point of aim. Then when you pick the gun up, you've got the gun, your arm is on your left hip using your bone structure rather than your muscles, because your muscles are going to give out on you. Your bones will never give out on you. They don't get tired. Your muscles do. So, once you've got your position ready, you stay in position, you take aim, and you don't stay there very long. If the shot's not there, then you reject it. You put it over to the side, you put your gun back on your offhand stand. You may do that once, you may do it twice, or you may not do it at all. Okay. And then you put your finger on the trigger, and you slowly pull the trigger toward you. You don't jerk the trigger, just a slow movement like you're pulling your finger in. And once you hear it go off, you keep your head down about 4 seconds, and then you come up and you move your gun back. It's just very repetitive, that same thing over and over again. You got the gun propped. All right, now you pull the gun over, get ready to shoot, aim. If you don't have your natural point of aim, you put it back. If you're ready, slowly pull the trigger.
I'm with you.
It's very repetitive. But it takes a lot of concentration. It takes a lot of focus. And that's why I said the younger shooters are usually not as good right out of the gate as the older shooters are, because they are more focused. I think mentally they're ready. The younger shooters get upset with themselves, I've noticed, more often than the older ones do, or they show it more. I can tell it.
Okay. I never would have guessed that. I figured the younger ones would just
they'll show their emotions a little more. I mean, I can tell when all of them, I spend enough time with them, I can tell when they're not happy.
Yeah.
Even if they have a good score, you can tell when they're not happy. But sometimes you can tell when something throws them. Usually it's the younger shooters. They let something, once that one thing happens, like maybe they threw a shot, maybe shot a 6 instead of a 10, and after that they can't get it back. They can't get the focus back. Their focus is gone. So,
do you have time in between each position to you know, after you shoot one position, I mean, do you have a break where you can like get refocused, or do you just move on to the next spot and shoot?
No, the rules are very specific. I mean, we take, there's a certain amount of time given for each position. The first position is prone, so they get 10 minutes for to make sure their equipment is they're prepared, they've got their equipment on, and it's set up the way they want it to be. And in that 10 minutes, they also shoot sighter shots. In the middle of the targets are there are two bulls that have a guard ring around them, and these are the sighter shots, and you'll see these have multiple shots in them, where she was making sure that her gun was sighted in. That's when you make adjustments to your sights, to your rear sights, so that it'll help you. Usually you're going to be in the black, or someone of Brooke's experience will be shooting in the black, but maybe she's a little to the right or to the left, and she knows how to adjust her sights so that it will put the pellet more toward the center. They want to center in. So they get that time for sighters, and after sighters, then they'll go into a 10-minute record shot period for prone. After they finish that, then they have 5 minutes for a changeover period. Then they get a 5-minute sighter period for standing. Standing, they get 15 minutes to shoot 10 shots. After that, they get another 5-minute changeover period, a 5-minute sighter period, and then a 10-minute period for record shots for kneeling. So it's all very spelled out. Our rule book is very detailed in shooting, and every 4 years when the Olympics rolls around, they always change something.
I'm sure.
And the International Shooting Sports Federation will change something, and it always trickles down because we do follow their rules. So,
well, that's wonderful. I'm learning so much here, and that's why I wanted to let everybody else out there kind of understand what's going on with
Donovan will have a lot to edit.
Yeah, he'll let him hear about it when you guys leave. That's okay though. So he's a pretty good guy. He won't mind. But now you mentioned that your daughter shoots. Now is there a challenge in coaching your own child? Because sometimes there is for me.
I think that I'm very fortunate because I have an assistant coach that David Hare, as I said, helps us. He's not there all the time, but when I'm having trouble with Hannah, and I can tell when she's going to respond to me and when she's not. And I usually will go to David and I'll say, David, she's doing this, go talk to her. And it's not that I'm passing the buck, it's just I know she will listen to him sometimes quicker than she will Mom.
Yeah.
And we try, or at the very beginning last year was the first year she shot on the team. And I told her at the very beginning that, you know, when we're on the range, I'm not Mom anymore. And she's been pretty good about that. I've had to remind her a few times. I'm like, this isn't Mom, this is Coach.
Yeah.
You know, but she does pretty well. I think that we do pretty well.
Now, on the flip side of that, I'm kind of in the same boat. I let someone else coach my kid most of the time because he won't listen to me. He'll listen to someone else way better. But the flip side of it is sometimes my kid is one of my best assistant coaches.
Yeah.
Like, he'll give me feedback about other people and what a kid may come over and say to him, like, man, I did this wrong, I did that wrong, and not to punk any kid out or no, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. And Hannah definitely has opinions that she shares.
Does she?
Yeah, she does. But I think that she's competitive, and she has decided that shooting is something she wants to do well, and so she's willing to do what it takes. And it does frustrate her when she sees, well, there are people on the team who are doing it for fun, and they're just doing it now, and you know, for something in high school, for a sport to do in high school, and that's fine. And Hannah has made a decision that she wants to do it beyond high school, so she's getting a little more serious now about it. And I think sometimes she gets frustrated with some of the playing, but she can play like the rest of them when she wants to. So
that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I guess that makes you feel good that she's maybe taking it a little more serious now.
Yeah, I can tell she's more serious about the sport this year. Definitely. Last year I wasn't so sure. Especially we go so long between August and our first competition. This year we were able to go and shoot in a sanctioned match in December, which was really nice, and we're going to try and do that again this year so that it could give them something to be working toward in the fall. It's really hard to start practicing something and go without a competition for several months, you know, because our area, now Atlanta schools, they have so many schools in their areas, they start shooting in November. Most of them shoot matches in November, December. But we don't have as many schools in our area, so we have chosen to wait until January and shoot all of ours January, February, March.
I was floored when you told me you started so early. I mean, really, I was like, what, really? And it shocks me that this GHSA lets you start that early because no other sport they'll let you really.
Well, this is a sport where you really have to develop what I call muscle memory with a gun. It's not like I'm sure the quarterback is throwing a football at home in the off season, to make sure he's, staying familiar with the ball and he's keeping his arm warm and, strengthening his arm.
Yeah.
He's thinking about those things. Our kids, the equipment we use, unless they purchase their own, they don't get to go home with it. It's pretty expensive. I mean, the gun costs $3,000.
Oh my!
So,
hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
My heart skipped a beat.
So, I mean, they need that opportunity to practice, and we practice, as much as we can. And it's not our off season because the only off season we have is the summertime. But we do share our room in the fall with some cheerleading teams, and so we don't get as much practice as I would like to have. But.
Right. Well, great. I think that you've opened our eyes to to a lot of things today, and I know you have mine. A couple more things, then we'll let Donovan get back to what he's got planned this evening, which apparently is nothing now, right? So what we kind of went, I guess, what do you do at practice? You just shoot. Is that what happens?
Well, later on in the season, after we have... Early in the season, the first month of practice is probably my most frustrating time as a coach because I have all my new shooters and we've got to show them how to shoot the different positions. Now, my veteran shooters come in and they just pick the gun up and they, start putting pellets down range. But, you really do have to work on positions a lot early on in the season. But at this point in the season, like today with Brooke, and I had another shooter who wants to shoot in a 4-H competition coming up, who came out to shoot today to get some extra practice in. But, she pretty much knows what to do. And if I notice something, some little, usually it's just something minor like today, I asked her why she was holding the rifle so long and standing. Because she was holding it a little longer than normal at the last match. So what's going on. Just kind of asking her what's going on, getting her to talk to me. At this point, it's just finessing a little bit. And they come in and they get their equipment set up and they're ready to shoot at this point. In the fall, it's a little more difficult because we've got to learn how to use the equipment,
I can imagine. But no, I can't. I can't imagine it all.
You should come. You should come. It is actually the first year I was coaching, one of the other coaches described it as watching paint peel. It was that interesting. It is a very long match, and you can't see what they're shooting unless you have binoculars or a scope. So sometimes, unless you have vested interest in the shooter, sometimes it's not the most exciting sport to watch. It gets really exciting when we go and shoot on electronic targets like we will at state because especially in the finals, every time the shooter shoots, you see their score. And you are looking to see, and you know what their total score is, especially in finals, and you can see when shooters surpass a shooter that was ahead of them before they started. So that gets your heartbeat up a little bit, and that's really interesting. But in our regular matches at home, we're not quite that exciting, but...
That's okay.
You should come.
I want to get out there, but my work schedule is so tough. I'm trying to get it worked out, but I will. I promise I will get out there.
Well, next year when we start our season, our matches usually start anywhere between 4:30 and 5, and we usually shoot 2 relays, so we're finishing up between 7:30 and 8.
Yeah, well, good. That gives me time to get out there then.
You're invited.
When you're out there, can you make noise as a spectator? Can I?
We're a lot. Well, actually, you can talk, but we are a quiet sport. Like golf, we like to tell people we are like golf, and we ask that you are quiet. We do have at our facility, we have windows where you don't actually come onto the range to watch the shooters. We keep you outside in the hall. It's just for safety reasons because
there's no bleachers or nothing. No
we pull some
grandstands?
chairs. No, there's no room for bleachers. We hope that they will get us some space if they will get us a new facility. That would be something that we would like to see happen in the future. So Tift County people out there, we really want to have a good team. We want people to come see us. So that would be a good thing.
Well, good. How do you motivate your teams?
Well, I thought about that on the way over here. I don't know if it's necessarily me motivating them as asking them, what is it that you want out of this? What's your goal? How are you going to meet your goal? And it's having them set their own individual goals because even though we are a team and the top 4 scores always count for the team score, I mean, you're shooting as an individual. Once you get out there on the line, I can't do anything to affect what you're going to shoot. Now, during the regular season, coaches can go to the line and talk to their shooters, but, especially in the state playoffs, we aren't allowed anywhere near the line.
Really?
When they're shooting. They're totally on their own. So, once, I think the thing that I've noticed most that I have to do as a coach is I can't show them if I'm uptight, because they feed off of that. So I have to be loose, and and this year I've tried to do that more. I noticed last year, and I think Hannah being on the team helped me notice that, because I noticed she would respond to me. And then I noticed, she's not the only one. And if I were uptight about a match, because I knew it was a really important match, I had to try very hard not to put too much pressure on them, because I want them to go out there and shoot and have a good time. And they know how to shoot. And if you put pressure on them sometimes, it's not good pressure. They can't handle it yet mentally. So
certainly,
just go out there and shoot and have a good time.
Well, great. We appreciate you coming on today. Like I said, we've learned so much about air rifle. I have, and I hope that a lot of other people have too out there. And this, what this show's about, is getting programs like yours and other programs out there out to everybody else, and getting some participation in. And with that said, what can Tift County and the community do to help the air rifle program?
Well, actually, we do have some support in the community. I think getting the word out that we do have this program, and that guns can be safe, and that we do teach our shooters how to be safe with guns. The 4-H program is, not that we have a feeder program, but we don't have like middle school and junior varsity air rifles. So many of the students who come to us wanting to shoot have had a little bit of experience. So support your Tift County 4-H shooting sports program. That really helps us at the high school level. When these kids move on up in age, they can move into this sport too. It's a very natural fit. Actually telling our kids, we get a lot of comments on Facebook. I always get some nice comments because I'll post things about how the kids are doing. But, talk to people and read the articles that the Gazette prints when we can get them the information. And, we do try and call and let y'all know how we're doing. But, if you see some of our kids in the community, tell them they're doing a good job and how proud you are of them. Of course, we always need money.
Yeah, well, that's
we do need a facility where we can have more people come and watch us shoot. It would be nice to have that too, but of course that takes some planning, and I think that our school system knows that we do have some needs that we're trying to meet the best we can every year. We improve both with the number of guns that we have. We started out with 8. We were able to raise funds through a raffle this year where people in the community helped support us with that so we could buy another gun. And I just got word last week, I wrote a grant to the NRA, and they have awarded us about $2,500 that will pay for another gun.
Wow,
so we're excited about that. So, that kind of support, within the community is wonderful. We've had some civic clubs in the community in the past who have asked us to come speak. Sertoma Club gave us a little money to help us go to camp last year. We've had some other people. Bale Plantation helped us last year with a donation to get our guns serviced. And, it's that kind of stuff that our community has done that really helps us to be a better team.
That's wonderful. And that's what we promote here, community helping everybody. So we appreciate your time and as always, your effort and your dedication to our community and our kids.
Well, thank you, Randy.
I know it's a thankless job, and I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you.
And keep us updated, especially next week when we see what's going on.
We will. We'll let you know how Brooke does, and hopefully get some pictures of her shooting at state back to you.
That'll be great. So support your Tift County High School and your 4-H air rifle teams, and let them know if you see them out on the street, like she said, let them know they're doing a good job and you're proud of them. So
I do want to plug our 4-H BB program. They're going to the Nationals this summer, so they're out there raising some money. So if you have an opportunity to attend a fundraiser for the Tift County 4-H shooting sports team, please do so. That will help them. They're going to Arkansas, Rogers, Arkansas, where Daisy's headquarters are there, and they'll take a team out there to compete, and it'll be a fun time for them. We actually have a couple of shooters who may be in the top 10.
Wow, that'll be interesting. So we always want them to be included in what we do, because
you said they're not your feeder program, but they really are.
They really are.
They are.
It's not official. But
it's right. It's not official, but they are your feeder program.
Mm-hmm.
So any information that you have on that, we'd love to have, and we'll get out there to everybody. So support your air rifle team, and until next time, we'll see you later. Thank you.
This here's been a production of the Narrow Media Network. Your reality distorted. For other great shows, be sure to check out Anero.tv.